everybody. It's good to
Hi.
be back together.
Hello.
It makes me feel real grateful.
Good.
Without going too, deep down the rabbit hole, this time of year makes me just think about being grateful, thankful, even.
Thankful.
Are you not those things the rest of the year?
No, I'm usually just real angry.
Yeah.
And, what is it called when it's not your fault, but it's everybody else's fault all the time?
Delusional.
Life.
Oh, shit. Yes. I'm a victim of this thing called life. Just like apparently everyone. I thought I was special, but this time of year I always try to turn it around so that I can get Christmas presents.
Oh,
For
make
people.
good.
Yeah.
Last stretch of the year, make good.
And so around this time, I don't want to dial in too much about what time of year it is, but it's pre-Christmas. I think it's safe to say that. Mm-hmm. And so the weather gets cold, and I start thinking about.
That's all but like 6 days of the year.
I know. I'm trying to be real vague.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'll thank you to stop, but thank you for being a friend at the same time. See, I started to be myself, but then I turned it around because I remembered I'm supposed to be grateful, and
We witnessed
like
that.
presents. So anyway, then I started to think about traditions, like traditions because it seems like people who get together around these times of year, pre-Christmas, they tend to do the same things over and over again. Whether that's right or wrong, I'm not here to judge because I love everyone.
This is so weird.
I know. I'm really practicing with you guys and the others.
I don't even know how to handle this.
I know it
I'm
doesn't feel
uncomfortable.
right. I'll say that.
No,
it doesn't.
definitely.
It doesn't feel good to me
is
on
ridiculous.
the inside. It feels like a real stretch, but
Feels like we're setting up for a grand comedy of some sort.
no, trust me, it'll be a big letdown. It'll be you guys will
okay.
not be happy, and you'll leave feeling a little worse.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't really matter what day of the
yeah.
year. Some things stay the same.
Yeah. So that's a tradition in itself, in a way,
Absolutely.
because we do
An
it over and
interpretive
over.
stance tradition.
Yeah.
Yay.
I'm not sure what you would call it, but let's say I'm a big letdown. And so then I was thinking about food, as I do, like 98% of the time. So my best memories were, like mostly just making and consuming pie, usually by myself. But I had other memories, like sometimes I would eat other things, so it's not just pie. But it made me think about traditions that other people might have this time of year, and so I was kind of wondering what yours might be if you have any. What are things that you think about fondly, or alternatively, what are things you think about angrily, but you're locked in maybe in a family situation, and the one thing you can count on is that it's going to be miserable, or maybe like when you were a kid, you thought, this sucks. I'll tell you what, when I grow up, I'm going to do this, and, good luck trying to stop me because I'm going to make my own tradition because I'll be an adult. So I was thinking about all of that.
Is that where the pie alone stemmed from?
Yeah.
I'm assuming you're with your
no,
family when you were younger.
No, I was with my family when I was younger, and now we have a new tradition on Thanksgiving because we never really had a tradition for like 20-ish years. So now we convene in Joplin, Missouri at 8 a.m. for the turkey trot.
Well, I will say this, that sounds a lot more fun, even though that probably sucks at the time. That sounds a lot more fun than a lot of just standard like dinners, I would think.
It is fun, except for there's a whole part in the middle where you have to like go 3.2 miles, on foot, and that's the part.
Especially if
The
it's trotting.
trotting.
That
The
sucks,
trotting,
Yeah.
and they do have donuts afterwards at a communal table, but I don't want to touch those race donuts. I want to go get my own donuts.
Oh.
Sure.
I thought your blind
I still will eat the
love
the
of
race
donuts would be enough to carry you through that.
Well, I'm not
still
going to
gonna
say
do it?
no. I'm
Oh,
not
okay.
going to say no.
All right.
But so that's what we do, and then. But for a while, I had a tradition every Thanksgiving of the Thanksgiving sandwich, the big-ass sandwich, as a way of shunning the turkey. And I have a photo album of all those sandwiches because they were glorious. They get a little better every year. Then forever there were the traditions of me saying, oh, people might come over, I'm gonna make this pie, and so like I would make 4 different pies, and then I would just eat them by myself usually.
That's so sad.
It's not to
As I
me.
laugh.
It's like the.
I know you're
it's
smiling.
the best.
We're all smiling
Yeah.
actually
It's
right
delicious pie.
Yeah,
What kind of pies? What's your...
So I would do the traditional to the pumpkin and the pecan, and then I would have
Sure.
a rotator. So one year I did a hot fudge pie.
Oh
So I
my
had seen a
God.
recipe, and I'm not really, usually I'm not really one for the chocolate pies because I think that's a little weird, chocolate and pie together if it's a regular pie crust.
Really?
Except for shout out to Village Inn for their French silk, which is amazing. And then I learned to make French silk pie, which is very labor intensive, but worth it. And so that's delightful. I like a good coconut cream occasionally, but yeah, I would just rotate it out depending on how I felt.
What are your thoughts on pudding pie? Do you know what that is?
I'll allow it.
Okay,
I
thank
can
you.
imagine what it is based on the 2 parts of the
To
title,
me,
but I've
when
not
I
had
thought
one.
of the worst chocolate pies I'd ever had, which I mean, let's be honest, they're still good. They're
gonna
just
say,
not
is
my,
there
they're
such a
not my
thing?
go-to. But I would think of the cheap, floury, pre-made crust with just chocolate pudding dumped in it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like the
And
little like gas station pies?
Yeah.
I literally don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
There's a whole world out there. Actually,
not a
we're
pie
gonna
man.
we're changing that. We're gonna shift the focus just to pie today.
Oh, okay.
Perfect.
I'll just go ahead and leave, I guess.
See ya. Piecast.
You two have fun. Oh yeah, by the way, David's not here.
Oh,
Oh,
what? When's the last time you guys saw him? David?
I don't know, but I can't really say I've been looking.
You don't have to look for him.
I
He
usually
he
just hear him.
appears.
He
yeah.
announces.
Yeah.
Calling
I'm
back
in
to
the
our,
room.
calling back to like Bloody Mary and those spirit things. Like you
You
don't
were
even have to
sitting
call
here
him.
without me?
He
I
literally
don't
just
like
pops up
it.
on his own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it.
So what do you guys think? What do you guys think about pie?
About
I mean,
pies.
traditions.
Traditions. Mine's kind of the opposite, where I had a bunch of traditions with my family as a child, and then as I grew up, everything just kind of fell apart, and there's not really a set one necessarily now.
That's exactly my situation.
Yeah,
actually.
and I'm kind of okay with it. As a kid, I was like the first grandchild born on like my mom's side of the family, so like Thanksgiving and Christmas were always like a big thing. We'd all go over to my grandma's house, and like everyone would just like stay the night there. And for Thanksgiving we wouldn't do that, but Christmas we would. Christmas Eve we'd stay there, and Christmas morning we'd wake up. And since I was the only kid, pretty much everyone bought me presents.
Oh, that sounds like a dream.
It kind of was a dream. I was like, this is the best. And then everyone started spitting out babies. And
I didn't know what that meant. Thank you for clarifying.
Yep.
Yeah, the visual was good.
Yep, and now I'm lucky if I get a gift card. But that's fine, because I understand procreation, you know.
I don't. Can you explain it?
I feel like you might.
Oh.
You
Okay,
know.
we'll leave it at that.
Okay, you know.
Oh, now I remember.
There you go.
Block that one out.
Boy.
But yeah, I remember that the Christmas Eve and me being little, you know, fumbly like 4-year-old, like, look at all these fucking toys.
And then you, I
Got
hope,
the whole-
got your mouth washed out
With lye soap
Yes,
and coal in your
from
stocking.
your
did.
sadistic grandma.
No, it was just a brick.
Thrown with force. So.
Yes. Shut up! No, I remember specifically, though, Thanksgiving-wise, I was always a, just kind of throw everything on a plate and just mix it up.
I was a mixer, yeah. It's a bit of a mixer.
Except for, like, I didn't mix sweet and savory, though.
No,
Like, I wasn't
Jesus,
throwing
no.
mashed potatoes on a pie. Like, I'm not a fucking idiot.
No.
But,
So did you forsake the savory or the sweet?
oh, I still
You just
partook
separated.
in both.
No.
Partook.
partook in both.
Oh, is this the exact word? I feel like
No, you literally both said it.
Yep. And so what I would do is I would take, the classic Thanksgiving, like the roll, the big, like bread roll, and then just take everything and put it inside that roll.
Oh, the roll sandwich.
It's your own Thanksgiving sandwich.
Exactly. And then I'd just eat that deliciousness.
By the way, before I forget, what would go into these Thanksgiving sandwiches?
Oh, everything. So it started
Like
kind of as a
Thanksgiving
joke.
style food or anything?
No, No, one year it was really, really like detailed Philly. Just like and we're talking like Scooby type sandwiches that it's ridiculous to even look at and impossible to fully close, and you're definitely not going to be able to just pick it up and take a regular bite. And I mean, you just kind of have to. It was a whole strategy. Like, how am I going to attack this sandwich?
Yeah.
And I mean, I always won. Don't get me wrong, guys. It was never a contest, but.
Did anybody else even think of it as a contest?
Ham and steak. We did steak. We did. I'm lost in my memories. I'm sorry.
Well, that's okay.
No, keep going.
And then grilled vegetables of assorted type. It got into making different sauces to complement them. And I should say that it was always just my husband and I, because the kids were old enough that they were like, fuck you guys, we're going to go somewhere where they have a real Thanksgiving.
A bunch of potty mouth children in these stories.
They were. Actually, we did kick them out, so because we don't put up with that shit. So
you've changed though.
I know. Yeah, it was a different time. It was a different time, a simpler time
Puritan
in many
Jen.
ways, and also a more complicated time.
Oh, what a paradox.
So, I know. It was the best of times and it was the worst of times.
The tale of two upbringing families things.
Yes.
But the sandwiches were the one good thing. And I almost literally mean that.
Sounds like
and
a
they
lot
were
more
real
worst
great.
of times.
Yeah, it was real bad, but we had the sandwiches.
Okay.
And I feel like that was enough. It was enough for a long time because that's how good the sandwiches were. But yeah, everything. They were just kind of like a garbage sandwich. It was just everything we had that sounded good. There was very rarely real planning.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just knew there was going to be a sandwich. We made sure the bread was in the house that would stand up to that kind of onslaught. And that was it. That was the big ass Thanksgiving. It was like 4 or 5 Thanksgivings. And then I haven't had a big-ass Thanksgiving sandwich since.
Well, you should bring it back. At some nondescript time of the year.
It's a different tradition situation now. Like this was my ex-husband, for example. So we're not married anymore. And my current husband is very
scared of sandwiches.
Yeah, he's against them.
I get it.
He's amazing in that he does like sandwiches, but he'll like them any day of the year.
Oh,
and
wow.
so on Thanksgiving, what we do is have a traditional Thanksgiving dinner, and that was odd, but I've adapted and I like it. I like that there are the staples. I make a very mean green bean casserole.
Oh my God.
I don't want to brag about it, but I am going to because I
already
found,
started.
I don't know if you guys have heard of a green bean casserole.
Absolutely.
I have, yeah.
It is literally
Oh,
my favorite.
I kind of thought that was my own thing that I invented.
They've existed
but,
as long as I can remember.
Yeah, I was
And I'm
expecting you guys
really
to go,
fucking
wow,
old.
that sounds made up. So
I'm super
never heard
old.
of that.
I will say I don't think they've existed. Like for some reason I didn't know anything about green bean casserole. I don't remember ever seeing them at my family's thing until I married my wife and she started making them.
It's because you grew up in that weird Shady Grove crowd with your friendship bread.
That is true, I
Friendship
guess.
bread's delightful, though.
I've still
Let's
never
take
had
a
that.
moment. Oh,
Maybe one day you'll get friends.
yeah.
I doubt it.
Same.
Nice. Or maybe not nice. Oh well, I'm
But
enjoying
it sounds gross. Green bean casserole. Like, just
It
say
does.
it and think about it. Like,
I would say most things with
hard
casserole
pass.
sound gross.
Yeah.
Especially because when I was a kid, like, you'd go to like a daycare or something, and they'd have like tuna casserole. And that was
No,
fucking
get
disgusting.
that shit
Yeah,
right
that
outta
doesn't
here.
sound
That's-
appealing.
I
don't
like
know
a
if that green tea
casserole.
ice cream thing was worse, maybe, but it's up there.
Would you eat a mochi green tea casserole?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big like.
Try it.
You got it.
I'm not a big noodle fan, but the noodles might help that
Surprise,
shit
guys,
now
bring
that I
it
think
on
about it. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Well,
Yuck.
I used to enjoy the holiday get-togethers when I was young because, my family, we'd all get together. It doesn't really matter the holiday, and I'd have a bunch of cousins that were my age. My little sister would have cousins that are her age, and we'd all play. My dad, uncles, grandpa, like we'd all get together and play basketball or football or, like if there were skateboards, we'd ride skateboards. So it was always like fun, like activities.
Yeah.
And then as everybody got older or worse, that kind of stuff stopped happening. So now it's more of just a get together. Everybody talks really loudly and we eat food. And I enjoy seeing the family people because I am terrible at keeping in touch and I just don't see them or talk to them other than those times. But yeah, I would say food wise, I don't know if there's any like food holiday that I like. Maybe like 4th of July, the barbecuing is good, but Thanksgiving food I can always pass. Christmas is basically Thanksgiving, I can always pass. We'd have a relatively new Easter tradition where we just do a big breakfast spread on that. And so that's a little different, I guess. I don't know. I like that. My wife loves that. So there you go. Not a
ham.
big
Sorry, I
food
didn't
holiday
mean to-
guy. No, I was wrapping
Ham
it up.
and not turkey. Turkey I think it's dry a lot of times, and it's maybe not even worth trying. But I have had some good turkey, and
When turkey is really good, it is, quite delicious.
Yeah, and so that's enough to make me try it again. But really, it's all about, I really like the casseroles, and I like the breads, and I like the desserts.
I think breads.
Yeah.
That's probably my favorite part. Just a big fluffy roll.
Yeah, the perfect roll.
It's good shit,
So
especially
when you said, yeah, go ahead.
when you stuff green bean casserole in it.
I was going to say,
It was my exact
that maybe if
visual.
your turkey is not up to par, I know, Gage, you obviously wouldn't have that now, but if your turkey's not up to par, put that in a roll, especially like a sweet roll or something, and that is quite good.
Oh God.
Yeah.
The Hawaiian sweet rolls.
Thank you to that company every day. Which is another sandwich, the Hawaiian sweet roll, like pano sandwiches.
Have
Oh.
Where you just like saw off the top of the whole package and then you fill it up with
Like turkey or ham and cheese or something like
yeah,
that.
or whatever.
Oh,
Turkey
yeah.
and cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah, my family does
Italian.
make that
Those.
quite a bit.
Yeah.
Butter all over them. Those are actually really good.
They're amazing. I may bring that in addition to the green bean casserole and be like, here's an appetizer. You're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll be like, let's not have turkey anymore. Let's just have
Just that.
tiny sandwiches.
Are you
Forever.
like, on the holiday topic, but since this is really airing 359 potential days when we recorded this, Gage,
Yeah.
are you a fan of Halloween? Because I know Jen and I both are very big fans.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a fan to the extent of where I'm like, it's cool, but if I don't have anything to do, I'm not going to do anything.
Oh, I still don't do anything.
I'm not
just
gonna.
like the spirit.
Yeah,
Oh, sure,
The spirit
yeah.
of Halloween.
Yeah,
The store,
absolutely.
specifically. Have you ever been to
Spirit
there?
Halloween,
Yeah.
yes.
Spirit.
Yes, the
We've dealt
nomadic,
with them, yeah.
nomadic costume store.
Yes.
Absolutely. Big fan.
Yeah, I do.
Love that atmosphere.
I mean, I don't really dress up. Like, we host like trick-or-treaters now, but just I don't know. Just I love the psychology of fear in like horror movies. So the fact they're so like prevalent, that's probably my favorite.
I love the candy.
Yeah, candy.
I mean, I hate to keep coming back to that. No, but when I was that's another tradition. So when I was a kid, I didn't really trick or treat much. We lived in this one house till I was 6, and so I have vague memories of trick or treating in that neighborhood. And then when we moved to this like 3-story Victorian mansion, and it looked spooky. You know, it was all brick. It had all the like the garrets and the columns.
You
And
didn't need to do anything then. It's
And
yeah,
medieval.
all the
but
time.
my mom was like one of those like super crafty, amazing moms. Like we had 4 different Christmas trees,
Super mom.
themed, and she, you know, was and is still to this day amazing. But she would turn our whole like front porch into this spooky experience. So we'd have the green light. She made a big web out of like twine and made these giant spiders out of like styrofoam covered with felt and pipe cleaner legs, and there were bats hanging from the ceiling and rats like stapled down to the floor, and
Hopefully
then
not
spooky
living.
music playing. Yeah, we watched them die. Like she would staple them like early
Screaming
in October.
horror.
And, yeah, she wanted it to be authentic, and she succeeded in that.
Absolutely.
We had nobody would come because
Yeah, I
it
was
was
to say that's terrifying.
no, but we'd have like
Sadistically
1,000,
sweet in a way.
1,500 like trick-or-treaters. So the tradition
Say
was like
1,500?
yeah,
Holy crap.
easily. Yeah, like it was
Dang.
It's probably
like
not
our
even
street
enough of an expletive.
started to become the place where kids came, and I think it was in large part because of my mom, because then the neighbors were like, fuck,
Now we gotta step it up.
now we gotta step it up.
She's trying to
Bitch.
outdo us.
And so that was like a very fond tradition, like centered around handing out candy to all these trick-or-treaters and seeing how excited they were and scared but like happy to be at this house. And so I think that's when my love of Halloween was really born. And it to this day is my favorite day of the year.
What are your
No,
thoughts?
it's not. And the
I
next
know
day
it's
is...
November 1st. I don't
We've
know why.
covered this on this very
Uh,
podcast.
What are your thoughts on trunk or treats?
Lazy.
Is that like the church parking lot thing?
Yeah.
I mean, I know they do it for safety reasons, but...
Well,
I'm
that's the
against
thing
it.
is, I don't even decorate. Like, I never feel like decorating because I know there's no one's gonna come to my house.
Mhm.
There's gonna be no trick or treaters, so it's like, I don't really want to put the effort into this. I would like to, but at the same time, it's like, I don't want to do it. I don't want it enough to do it just for me.
I decorate the inside of my house.
Oh,
That really is kind
I
of just for you.
never even thought
Yeah.
of that.
Or your family.
It
but,
makes me happy. Yeah, yeah. So like, like in the entryway, there's a little table, and we have this like ghoul that I got as a birthday present from someone who my boss knew I loved Halloween. So she got me this like big ass like zombie looking guy, and you can turn it. There's a little switch, and he like goes back and forth. It's like, He has his
Nice.
arms wrapped around, and
I think
so
I work with him.
yeah, he's great, right? And then just little things hanging down, and a little pumpkin wreath, and
Aw.
then strategically placed
Pumpkin wreath.
decorative bowls.
Sweet, innocent reaction.
I know, and I just love it. I love it. So, and then my other tradition that has like stayed through my entire adulthood, that's kind of my own tradition because nobody else cares. I've always lived with a bunch of guys, and guys aren't into this decoration stuff. And so I put up the Christmas tree the day after Thanksgiving. Because at first it was because I was always off work. And it was like, let's
Best
just get
time to
this
do
out of
it.
the way.
Yeah.
And then before I knew it, it's a tradition. And I have, a ton of ornament. My mom, when I became an adult, was like, thank God you made it. Here are all these ornaments because I'm not going to keep doing all these trees. So I have a ton of ornaments. And then
These rats aren't going to pin themselves down. So
Yeah, here's the staple gun.
You take
good luck
Christmas.
to you. And it was an honor. It was an honor to be given that staple gun. And so yeah, every Black Friday, it's Black Friday, and that I know that I got to haul those decorations down and put them up, and then kids are into it for a minute, and
Yeah.
then they're
Wow.
like,
And then-
no, let's put like 5 right here, and then we're gonna get on out of here and do something way more fun, which is almost anything.
I
Yeah,
remember.
I didn't want to ruin your story, but I agree with him.
Yeah, it's not fun, but I do it because when it's done, it's beautiful.
Oh,
and
sure.
then and I really like sitting there in a darkened room that's just lit up by a Christmas tree.
You know what? I haven't experienced that since I was a kid, and I agree. That is something my family did. Just specifically, our family unit used to put up Christmas trees, and I fucking loved it when that was the only thing lit up in the room.
Yeah.
That was cool, and I literally didn't even you literally just transported me back to my childhood, sitting on my living room floor and just looking at the fucking Christmas tree. I loved that.
Yeah.
That was dope.
I love it still. And yeah, I do. It's just a nice glow,
Yes.
And you just kind of get recentered. You kind of remember that, hey, we're all just trying to make it, and it's a pretty good old world that we live in, and everything's going to be A-okay.
Absolutely.
So it's a little meditative thing.
I agree with the last part. Even though it may not sound like it, I do think it's a pretty good little world we live in. And there's a lot of beauty out there, but yeah, I don't know. Decoration stuff has never been my thing. I guess I'm one of those guys.
Yeah.
Did your parents ever put up a Christmas tree or anything?
Every year, yeah.
Okay.
And I don't. It may have even been Black Friday. I think there were maybe a couple years, maybe, where we had a real tree, but usually it was just the one that we could package up in the attic.
Mm.
So
Yeah, that's
if it wasn't Black Friday, it was always really close.
I we never had a real
Thanksgiving.
tree. Ours was always just one of the ones that sat in a decaying cardboard box.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Every year you'd break it out and then just have a huge tub of ornaments. And
Yep.
go
Yep.
through
My
and put 'em
actual,
up.
now that I think about it, my actual favorite memory of Christmas, when I was a kid, and obviously you have the presents waiting, and again, I never sleep anyway, but especially on those days when you're a kid, you're just too excited.
Mm-hmm.
My little sister could sleep, and she was 4 years younger, but I remember when we were really little, she'd always say, "Can you wake me up so we can go look at the presents,"
Mm-hmm.
And that was always fun, and she was always so happy and just so excited. So waking up my sister to go look at presents 2 hours before my parents got up was a very fun memory.
That's pretty
Very
cool.
innocent, and yeah.
And I was always trying to catch Santa because my mom also managed to transform our Christmas tree room, because this was a big house, so we could call stuff Christmas tree room or parlor. It was ridiculous.
Ooh.
And I know it's pretty cool. So, and then the rooms had these pocket doors, that slid into the wall, and so it was throwing open those pocket doors and winning the double showcase showdown. And so it was so much magic because she would have big presents just out, but have smaller stuff wrapped up so that there were presents under the tree prior. And so I was no human can pull that off. So there's a Santa. Honestly, and I'm only partially joking. I wasn't sure about Santa till I had a kid, and then I was oh, it is me. It is me.
That first Christmas was rough.
Shit, he's not gonna remember this. It's fine.
I thought I saw Santa one year and snuck into my parents' bedroom, and
It was just them having sex.
hey,
Sister's origin.
Yeah, sorry to,
Santa and your mom.
sorry to interrupt again. Sorry to interrupt again.
Again. What's wrong
But I'm
with you?
Dad. It's just my dad in there. Just I think I just saw Santa Claus. And I'm why does he drink a lot of whiskey and look like my mom?
Oh, zinger. My parents would just wrap presents
Nonstop.
in front of me. So it was pretty clear.
Close your eyes.
Yeah, it was pretty. They never tried to necessarily enhance the illusion beyond the Santa, he's real.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'd just
Real
walk in and
scary.
be hey, don't come in here.
He got this for you, but he had to lay off some fucking elves, so we're wrapping this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my son. I never told my son, and I found out last year.
Does he know now? Or?
He does.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's part of this whole story. So we told my stepkids, that there was no Santa, and it was.
How old are they?
'cause they're 10.
Yeah.
So they were getting all the kids at school were coming, and Josh, my husband, is great in that he has a way of presenting information that's very straightforward and easy to understand for kids, which I admire greatly. So it was the day after Easter, right? And I had spent, that was kind of my thing, sneaking the Easter baskets in quietly and not waking up children. That's been, something that I've managed to pull off every year, and I don't know how, because I am not graceful. But it was the day after Easter. No, it started the night before, and Cruz, my stepson, came in, and he's like, hey, just in case there's not an Easter bunny, I really want this Call of Duty game. and I was like, that's so sweet, and it's definitely not going to happen. I didn't,
So sweet, and that game's way too violent
yeah,
for you.
yeah, it was, yeah, because he was 8, 9. I think he was 8 at the time.
Probably
So
a typical age for that
yeah,
fan base, though.
yeah, and so I was like, oh, that's funny, and I could tell, like, on his face, like he already knew, you know,
Right.
like you can just, and he was like, oh, I don't know whether I should.
He's hedging his bets.
Yeah. So then Easter came, and I pulled off the double get, because they're twins and they share a room, so it was like a double sneak. And so then the next night, he comes and he's like, will you just be honest with me if I ask you something? And I stupidly said yes, because I feel it's important to be honest. And he goes, is there an Easter bunny? And I was like, what? I think your dad's calling you. I think he sounds like he's hurt.
That's good.
He's hurt.
The lesser of two evils, yeah.
So I was
If
like,
you're gonna
what?
lie.
Yeah, huh? And so I was like, you should ask your dad, I think is what I said. Or made noises like it wounded animal
Rabbit,
until
ironically.
Easter bunny, yeah. And so he went and asked Josh, and he was like, Dad, will you please be honest with me about something? And Josh was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, shit, because he will. And he said, is there an Easter bunny? And Josh just looked at him for a minute and he said, no. And it did. The reaction was not what I expected, because he was like, what?
Oh.
And then he goes, I am shocked. I am shocked. And he just kept saying, you know, and so he went in and he came back out.
This is
And
preposterous.
he's like, okay.
I'm mortified.
Okay. Well, what about, I can't remember. He said, what about the tooth fairy?
Oh.
And Josh said, yeah, no, that's us too. And he said, I just saw his like
his world crumbling.
yes.
Thank
And I
God we
was
have
like,
Santa.
Oh my God.
It was almost exactly like that. So then there was a
no.
hurried conference where Josh spoke to their mother and was like, this is happening, you know, and she was like, she of course did not want to deal with that, 'cause what mother wants to be part of their child finding out there was no Santa? So she also knew that it was inevitable, because she's pretty cool like that. So then we had to go in together, and then Cruz had apprised Cash of the situation. And Cash is the more realistic, down-to-earth, straightforward one, but he was even shook. So then I was like, fuck.
Uh-oh.
And then they were like, is there a Santa?
There it is.
All right, let's get down to brass tacks.
Yeah. And then it turned into, is there a God? So it was a night for the books in the John Mayer house. And so then Josh was like, there's not. And they didn't like it. They didn't like it at all.
Was
and
that
it
to
was
the God one or the Santa one?
yeah,
So I don't know how deep you want to get into that.
Well,
but
I mean,
I literally don't know
he
which
has a-
one.
Yeah, it was the Santa one.
Okay.
It was the Santa one. They still believe in God. So they're like, you're not taking it all away. Not tonight. We got to have this one thing. And so then we just talked about, and it was like, they were like, what about the sleigh bells outside the window? Like, because they, you know, Josh and his ex-wife would do this whole thing where they would, you know, like, you better get to
wow.
bed. Is that the sleigh? You know, and like, yeah, no, that was one of us, or, you know, whichever one. They're like, that's why we were never both in there. I mean, just like,
Never saw us together in the month of December.
yeah, it was all. And I thought, like, how that would have really rocked my world too. You know, like, because I
Yeah.
knew around 9, I guess they were 9, because it was last year, but I knew on some level. That's why I was tried so hard to catch my mom, because I knew it had to be her.
Yeah.
But then I called my son afterwards, because I was a little traumatized. He's 23, and I was like, hey,
Just so you know, let's get this out of the way.
is there a time that you doubted your belief in Santa? Like, I was real careful about how I asked it.
Just in case. At 23?
Listen, I was 21 when I really, I mean, like, I never
Are you serious?
officially found out.
I'm not like judging. I'm
No,
literally just
I did. I mean, I
curious.
knew there was, of course, a time. My parents got divorced when I was right before my senior year of high school, and so then Christmas was split up, and you know, and I knew before. I mean, I knew when I was around, like, probably 4th, 5th grade.
Sure.
I remember specifically 4th grade being like, Is that mom? Come on. But as far as like a moment where I found out definitively that there was no Santa, I didn't have that, is what I'm saying. So I asked, and he was like, yeah, so I came home from school one day in 3rd grade, and I was watching a movie about the making of the movie The Santa Claus. And the set designer was talking about perpetuating the myth of Christmas and how she was happy in Santa and how she was happy to do that. And so ironically, he finds out watching something about a movie that was meant to convince kids that there really is a Santa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tim Allen.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for nothing.
I think I don't remember the age. I was very young, but I think Santa and the Easter Bunny, I think, was the same conversation for me with my mom too. I actually remember the conversation, and she's just like, "Why?" I think I started off like, "Is Santa real?" She's like, "Why would you say that?" I'm like, well, all the kids at school say he's not.
Those fucking kids between the bus.
And then you get to a certain age, and just the logic starts adding up. But I said that, and she admitted, and then I think I phrased it. I guess the Easter Bunny's probably not real either, huh? So I guess kind of hedging bets in a way.
Yeah.
She's like, no, and I don't remember. I think I was a little disappointed, but I don't remember it being like devastating.
Yeah, because I mean, after
I
they
think
got
I caught
over
them
it,
doing the tooth fairy thing.
Yeah, that was the first, like when my son first lost his tooth, it was December 23rd when he lost his first tooth, and it was late at night, like 10:30 at night, and did not have any small bills or even change. So the tooth fairy wrote a note.
Before
I owe you.
I was gonna say it's 23, so that's
she was
before
like,
there's
listen,
ATMs
this
everywhere.
this is your first
I owe you.
tooth, so here's this $5 bill because it's special funds. And then he lost his second tooth on Easter. And again,
Kids breaking
only
the
had
bank.
fives. Yeah. And I'm like, it's a
Did you
holiday.
combine? I was gonna say.
Here's $5. And then after that, I was like, well, we're fucked, So he got $5
breaking the bank
per
at that
tooth.
point.
Yeah. He did well for himself. But yeah, I never had any of those talks with him.
Yeah, I don't think I ever talked to
Like
him.
even after the fact.
No, we told him.
I guess if you asked
like
him
Josh
recently.
and I then told he and Shelby, his girlfriend, the story, and they're like, "Oh shit!" And then we
that
all
Josh or
started
Shelby?
talking. Shelby, usually she's.
Oh,
she's
I
pretty
didn't know who
yeah,
had a
yeah.
voice that
Josh
deep.
is like, yeah, no, I did it, and I don't know how I could have gotten out of it really. 'Cause
Yeah, that's a weird situation.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was
I'm
a
not a
weird-
parent, but that seems like a weird situation.
It was weird because, and then Cash, the next Christmas, which was last Christmas, was like, I still want to believe, but I know my dad doesn't lie, and I don't know what to do. And it was the saddest, sweetest thing. It was so awful. Like, and now they're like, good, let's get down to brass tacks. We know. So this is what we want you to buy us.
I was gonna say this is like an.
Yeah, I was gonna say at some point, it'll click, and they'll be like, "Oh wait, we
Yeah.
still get presents."
So we just talked about that last night, actually, because we're like, oh God, Christmas is coming. We need to buy some presents. Anyway,
So it goes.
So it goes.
My parents always enjoy the story. My neighbor, this was probably 2nd grade. My neighbor was just saying there's no Santa Claus, whatever. It's just, just your parents. And I told him that my parents couldn't afford all the presents that I got. So it had to be Santa. And again, I was very young. My parents still bring that up, like, to this day, how much they enjoyed that.
Aw.
It's true that, like, we did live in a big house, but it was for a long time, it was a money pit house. Like, sometimes it rained in the living room. And so...
Is that metaphor?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it really did. It's really hard to keep a roof from leaking on houses like that. So.
Absolutely.
Yes, you know what I'm saying. And so, like seeing the way she would transform that room on Christmas, I was like, no human being.
This is beyond the grasp of
scope
man.
of mere money.
Yeah.
And
Immortal.
yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. It was fun, is the point. It was nice. And now I feel like everything else is a letdown. because you can't, you know, like you build things up, like that's the thing, the nostalgia and the magic that in your mind, and you build it up, and then you can't imagine how you could provide that same thing for anybody else.
Well,
Right.
the other side of that, when you're a kid, you're, the innocence, the naivety, but that whole experience is being custom catered to you as well. So
Yeah,
it's
it
literally
is.
you're getting the best show like performance
It really,
possible
you're right.
for each holiday.
You're right. It's all true.
And then when you're older, it's just work.
It is, and that's another
Work
thing.
in a
Like,
sparkly tree at night, I guess,
you
for some
know,
of you.
because it's like, is it better to perpetuate this fantasy, and then the reality hurts that much more, like when it comes crashing down, like the whole, even like down to school breaks, you know, and then you're like, oh, this
But
is great,
how long-
this is what.
See, I don't remember being affected that badly or that long. Like, how long did, like, I guess the stepsons, how long did that bother them?
It bothered them. Well, it bothered them for a couple of days. Like, the bad part was that the next day they went back to their moms, because it's like a 50-50 1 week.
Sure.
So, like, we basically broke them and then sent them away to her to deal with the aftermath, which I felt.
That's,
Oh,
no,
boy.
that's her penance for not wanting to be a part of the
That's
reveal.
what you get. And she, didn't really want it to happen. Like, as I said, you don't want your kids' hearts to get broken.
Well, of
It's
course
just
not.
like, any kids, whether that be your dogs and cats or your human children, like you just don't want to see small hearts get broken. I don't.
I'm looking at it through like cold logic, but I think it's, in the end, they're learning some way the world works, a nice way, something
Yeah.
nice about their parents that they would do for them. And then
And
they
that's
also
how
had
Josh
years
looked at
of
it, too.
happy fantasy, and you just
They
said
did.
maybe a couple days, maybe a year
Yeah,
of
and like
disappointment.
it doesn't change. We're still gonna decorate on
Yeah.
the day after.
They still have that.
And they still have that, and they're gonna remember how, their dad put these ornaments on this tree and made it a whole family tradition, and how we do Christmas cookies, and they'll have all of those traditions and those memories. It's just this one thing. And
Right.
they were young, and I feel like it was a good age ultimately, because I feel like 8, 9 just to me feels like the age when kids find out. Like I always think of 3rd and 4th grade specifically. So, they still will remember before, and still be able to bounce back because they're resilient, because kids are. But it was just weird for me, because in my whole life I had never had to be part of like
Yeah.
telling someone the truth about something fantastic that they believed, and so that was rough. But they're champs. I mean, they're great now, and like Cash had pointed out, like when his parents got divorced, that hey, we get like 2 Christmases now, like, and they were 5 then, I think.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I mean, they're cool. The point is they get presents.
Yeah.
But
And I think when they go through that transition of, oh, it's Santa, to, oh no, it's my parents kind of thing, there's that moment of grief there, sure, but afterwards I think it all starts to kind of focus around like the family unit, and like that's where like I think real like actual holiday tradition kind
Yeah.
of starts
That's
to
what I mean,
starts
like,
to pop up.
yeah.
Is
When I was saying, like, they realized with the family what everybody does.
yeah, so you can see it shifts from, oh, this magical person cares about me and is monitoring to see if I'm good or bad,
Yeah.
and then it goes from that to, oh, it's my family who cares about me,
Yeah.
and they're doing all this work to give me good memories, and you know what, that's pretty cool.
it really is almost as cool as a room lit only by a Christmas tree.
Almost.
I wouldn't know. I'm just kidding.
I don't remember what we were talking about originally. Oh, traditions. But that's I think we covered it.
Nice.
I think that we talked about all the things. I think that
have renewed my desire to have a Hawaiian sweet roll every day, and that's
Have it every day?
yeah. Like I used to be like, I'm just gonna have one of these every day because they're
They're
delightful.
good by
They're
themselves.
so good.
Yeah, and
Not vegan though.
no. Oh, come on!
I know. I will say
That
though,
makes sense.
there are Hawaiian sweet roll croissants
Yeah.
that are vegan, and they are fucking
I'm gonna
delightful.
Make it. Now my goal is to find a way to make you a Hawaiian sweet roll that's vegan.
This drives you crazy every time we bring it up, but we have a vegan chef friend.
I know.
I bet she could do
I've
it.
talked to her
She
now
absolutely
too,
You have?
and yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we did talk, and she said she would love to come on
Oh,
this podcast, and then she said that she was terrible about following up, and I should stay on her, and that was roughly the day after Halloween, I believe.
I resisted the urge to bring it up, but she also did a vegan chocolate pie.
Okay.
No, I'm telling you.
Okay.
And her face looks a little bit like those kids, I imagine, when they found out there was no Santa, Easter Bunny, or Tooth Fairy.
Yeah, I'm trying. You know, like every time I hear chocolate pie, I still have a little bit of a disconnect because I'm like, they don't go together. It doesn't. Chocolate donuts, I feel the same way. I don't know why.
really?
I know it's
That
it's
is
a
kind
whole
of strange.
Thing. Yeah.
You
never-
lost me there.
Well, and it's not.
I never liked
okay, so
chocolate
it's
donuts.
not chocolate. Like
I mean,
I'll
that's
have a
not surprising for
chocolate
me.
donut, but if
And
it's
no.
a regular donut with chocolate frosting on it, like a glazed donut with chocolate frosting, I'm like, no, those
No.
don't go together. I also don't like yellow cake with chocolate frosting.
I don't like yellow cake at all.
Yeah.
Do you like the white icing like on a donut?
Yes.
Oh, me too. See, I always
Yeah.
did. I love that.
Yes, that's
I'm-
my
If I
favorite.
were to have a donut, that would probably be it.
I do love a white cake with sprinkle, like a vanilla cake donut, vanilla frosting, sprinkles. There's a Hertz Donuts has a birthday cake one where the frosting is like a 1/4 inch thick.
That's ridiculous.
And that's what it should be.
I mean, ridiculous.
ridiculously
Yeah,
good.
in a good way. I mean,
But yeah,
I'm not
there's something
hating
about like
on our friends at Hertz Donut.
like in the same thing with a chocolate pie. If it's a regular pie crust with chocolate in it, I have a bit of a hard time. If it's a chocolate crust or a chocolate donut with chocolate frosting or a chocolate cake with chocolate frosting, yes. But I don't know.
See, I'm the opposite. I would prefer a chocolate donut with like white frosting. Like I don't want double chocolate. To me, that seems weird.
Why are you squinting so hard?
Because he's thinking about it. He's thinking about it real hard, making sure that that's...
You have to
know,
physically
that's
move that way to think, though?
interesting.
That's
No, this is I'm literally.
This
I can't
should be a
see right now.
whole-
I'm picturing it in my eyes.
This should be a whole episode in itself. Like accepted
Squint thinking?
foods that you're
Oh.
like, no. And you have no reason other than...
accepted foods?
Because it's not even
Oh, I have
like
a
generally
bunch, yeah.
accepted, foods that you're just like, no, not this guy, not happening.
I'm not even a picky eater. I'll try anything from around the world and love cuisines of all types, but I cannot stand spaghetti. I cannot stand lasagna. I cannot stand tea, as we found out.
Not a tea guy.
Brownies.
Yeah,
I'm-
you've mentioned your
I'm trying to think. Those
brownies
are
multiple times.
4. I could probably come up with one more for a top 5, but those 4 are in my top 5. Like most hated foods, and they're universally loved.
I don't like spaghetti, and I don't like angel hair pasta at all.
Spaghetti's
Any-
spaghetti's probably my least liked food I've ever had, other than just shitty like cafeteria food or something. But I mean, that's an incredibly popular dish. I assume I'm the odd person out. Well, Jen and I are the odd people out.
Yeah, I don't like. Yeah, because Josh loves pasta and angel hair pasta in particular, and I'm like, why? What is this? This is floss. This is like
Yeah.
limp, flossy. Yuck.
I love pizza, but almost every other kind of Italian.
I mean, pizza's great.
Pizza's great. Yeah.
I like it all.
Yeah, except for the double chocolate.
Yeah. Well, anything not vegan, I guess.
Yeah.
You need to find a chocolate donut with the white icing later.
Yeah.
Maybe I will.
Homework.
Homework, gang.
Come
Go
back and
start
talk
a
about it.
tradition. Break a kid's heart and find the donut you love.
Break a kid's heart and then treat yourself
Treat
to a
yourself.
nice sweet.
So that all being said, do you feel like we're better people this week?
I do. I feel like you've taken me on a trip to my childhood.
Yay.
Happiest moments of my childhood.
Yay.
And I
That's all
thank you for
wanted.
that. It has warmed my heart and my soul.
I don't know if I'm better, but it's one of those, like, not in a negative way. It's just kind of on the even keel. I did enjoy, like, reminiscing, like you're talking about the childhood, reminiscing about how happy my sister was
Yeah.
and waking her up
You're
every
making
year.
me real sad.
What?
How happy my sister was
Oh,
as I observed her.
I only have a certain level of happiness I can
Oh,
ever
got
hit,
it,
but
got it.
like, but no, and just the innocence and the sweetness of like, all right, you promise you're gonna wake me up in the morning, and then I do, and then literally she like running out to go see the presents under the tree. It's very nice.
Yeah.
That's very
pretty cool.
sweet.
That's pretty cool. I feel like I'm a better person.
Good.
Because I like the reminiscing. I like hearing other stories about their traditions, and that was kind of my selfish reason for bringing it up, because I get real into this storytelling and the memory sharing and reliving. So
I will say
I feel great.
I'm very happy. I just thought of this, like 4th of July, which was always one of my favorite holidays. It's not new now, but a different tradition my family has is a big badminton tournament.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. I haven't made it the last couple years, but and when we were younger, that's another place we'd play basketball and all this stuff. And it was great. And like I said, I love the barbecue. When I was a kid, I liked fireworks, not really as much anymore. But that's always fun to see, because certain members of the family, especially like my dad and uncles, are just lifelong highly competitive, all athletes.
Yeah.
And so, one, it's just fun to play a badminton tournament. Most people are just out there for fun. And then there's, I don't know, every other year or something, there's some kind of fight between the brothers. Just
Fights.
quite fun.
Fights, guys.
I might actually like tell one whole story like in a future episode, but one of them ended with like my uncle literally throwing his badminton racket like after they lost. He like threw it and it landed on the roof of the house next door.
I like that.
So anyway,
I like that.
That
I
is
like
my
a good
kind of holiday
fight.
and my kind of fun, actually, I guess.
See, you did light up when you talked about.
Oh, I cannot wait to tell you the actual
He's
full story
glowing.
now.
Yes, there's a glow about you. All right, guys. Well, thank you for taking this journey with me.
You're very welcome.
Your
Thank
mind's
you.
What
in
a
our
journey
hearts.
it's been, Jen.
Thank you for taking us on this journey.
Absolutely, David. You probably missed the best day of my
David,
life.
what do you think about holidays?
I don't like them.
Good job, David.
That is your best contribution we've ever heard in a single episode.
All right, guys. Well, till next time.
See ya.
Bye now.